Yeah.
Video camera.
That's about all I got.
Come on. Say something nice.
I'm frozen. I'm very pleased that you two are going to Woodland Caribou. You're putting me on the spot. I'm not really a TV personality. There we go.
He is really. He's an old media whore.
Or maybe not a media whore.
Here we are in Woodland Caribou Provincial Park. Jane's just pointing at a loon ahead of us, which is we always take as good omens. Now, we've been delayed the whole morning because the weather's cut in rough, so we couldn't take off from the float plane. So eventually we got away. Just off the mountain, I guess. Come across, it's quite windy, and we're now entering the Bloodvein River. And about 3 or 4 k's ahead of us, we think, is a waterfall, and there we're going to have to do our first portage. The forecast for today and tomorrow is grey, overcast, quite a bit of wind, bit of rain, and then hopefully, according to the forecast, it's going to start breaking out better, with the temperature rising to the high 20s by the end of the week. So we're a bit wrapped up now. We've got our wet weather gear on, heading up this river, this very remote part of Canada. It's beautiful. We're flying over in the plane. It's probably long. It's about an hour flight, I guess. It's quite a good flight. Jane looked down and she saw a herd of deer going through like a swamp. And we think possibly deer are either moose or singular creatures. So it could have been a Woodland Caribou. We'd love to see, but we don't know. I've noticed ahead of us, you can just see that on the camera, there's something sticking out the water. I'm going to go around and avoid that in case it's a tree which has got stuck in there. We don't be turned over at this stage of the game. The water's quite warm, air temperature's okay. So we're heading up. We're going against the current here. The current's not too strong. The water level is very high. So usually there's a lot of rain this spring, an awful lot of rain, and the climate's been all over the place apparently. I think we go right or left here, Jane, do we? We go around to the left. So we'll see how we get on in a few minutes' time. So these are, we're going to go up close to here and have a look. I don't even see them. There's big pictographs here. So these were made by First Nations people a few hundred years ago. Oh, John, I've got to put those made from like a red oxide Arnold's and natural stuff here. They make. Pouring with rain now, but it's beautiful. Well, there we are. These are the first pictographs made by First Nations people. We're following their old routes, their old trade routes, or their hunting routes. So the trails will be following First Nations. You can also see this, the bottom of these rocks here, where it's clean, where the ice has been through in the winter and cleaned everything out. The whole of this is frozen solid in the winter. 3 foot of ice on it. So not far now to our first portage. Waterfall or rapid, we're not sure to get round it. Okay, this is our first portage point. We have a rapid here. You can see a campsite. So this is one of the first wild campsite we've come to. Now we can't line up here, the current's too strong, and we've been coming against the current up the Bloodvein River. Little sandpiper just got up and see Jane here ahead of us. So what we're doing now is we're going to stop for a cup of tea and a biscuit or two. Get a bit of energy before we do the portaging, which is a good trick to do to make sure you're stacked up with some calories. And just walk this route. It's only a 135 metre portage, but we have to work our way down here. You can see ahead of us another fairly wild rapid there. So very shortly we'll be coming down here carrying all the gear in different loads and seeing where all this goes to. Never come down that one too much. So we'll just have a look around the corner here. When you're doing these sorts of stuff, you're also looking out for things like bear prints and bear scat and stuff. Try and make the noise. So here we are. So we'll have to come along here. I don't know where the put-in point is. So we're going to have to consider this a bit. Not as simple as I first thought actually, but we'll suss it out and see. Okay, this is our first camp. Done about 10 k's this morning, well this afternoon. Is Jane doing the washing up. That's just hugely important because we have to keep it scrupulously clean to make sure there's no smell of any food because of bears. So tonight we had steak, fried potatoes, onion and a red pepper, a bit of lard, all served in 1 pan and washed down with an apple and some fudge. If I take you over here, this is what Harlan told us to do with the food barrel. So the food barrels here are well away from the tent and then lashed onto a tree. We're going to put a bear barrel there later. And Harlan said what you do, you have a sight of your tent so you can see this food barrel here. And the tent is Jane there doing her stuff. The tent's going to be right over that way. And you have sight of your food barrel. So if you hear the bear bell tinkling, he said you get up and deal with it. Which scare the bear off, I suppose he means. Sleep with your axe open, your knife open, your bear spray ready. And he said you can look out if it's a squirrel, that's fine. If it's a bear, you've got to go and try and get the bear. It's been too wet to have a fire tonight. There's our canoe all tied up with our chairs, charts there and stuff. So here we are, we're in paradise. This is hopefully the worst of the weather. It's a bit cold tonight, not too bad. We're going to get the tent up in a minute. Jane, would you like to just say a little something to the camera?
No, I can't get it off.
Pardon?
I can't get the lard off.
She can't get the lard off. Yes.
New knife, look.
Yeah, Jane's new knife. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Look, from Harlan.
I can't get the lard off.
I'll get some pine needles and do that. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to get the tent up next. Okay, this is day 2. We had a rough night last night, a lot of rain, continuous rain, and this morning gale. Jane's going to hold up this gorp a minute. Just hold that gorp up, Jane. This is good old raisins and peanuts. It's a kind of Canadian staple, and we're going to feed up with that now because leaving our campsite and getting here, this is the Bloodvein River. and we're in the Bloodvein River system, and we had a lot of wind, so at one point we got across a big embayment, and when we had to seek shelter, because thank God once we got in there the wind got up so much we would have been in a muddle, I think. Then we got in here, we're now nicely sort of tucked in this river. We're going to now start heading against the wind. The wind's been with us, and see what's at the end. We're some miles from a campsite as yet, and if the wind doesn't die down we're going to have to wait till this evening and see what happens. But here we are. The sun's not out yet. This is Monday, so it's day 2. The weather's meant to turn better tomorrow, and on the Bloodvein River in the Woodland Caribou Provincial Park. And I'm going to stop there for some food and a smoko, I think. Here we are. This is the end of day 2. We've got the fire here roaring as a smudge pot to stop the mosquitoes. Not that there's many tonight at all, actually. So we're on the end now of Haggart Lake. We've had a hard paddle today. A lot of headwinds, some big waves. We've done well to get here, actually. We slept badly last night. It's pouring the rain, chucking it down, a lot of wind. It's finding a way now. We're in the most beautiful area. Just down here we had a swim earlier and cleaned ourselves up. We had fresh steaks for dinner. Got this little fire pit here, you can kind of see around, a food barrel and stuff all tied on. You tie that to a tree. I think I explained that before. There's behind this dense forest. This is an island, quite a big island. It's about 1 kilometre wide and 2 kilometres long. Tomorrow we're going to be heading down that way. There's Jane. See the tent? We've had a whole lot of rocks. You can't get pegs into that stuff, so it's all weighted down. We think it might rain tonight, we're not sure. Jane is now going to start doing the diary, so we'll be going there. It's about 8:30 now. Just had a rum, having a tobacco, watching the sunset over this way. That's west, obviously. So we're going to call it 9.5 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Shallow, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, another dam. Yeah.
Trousers off.
Sorry?
Trousers off.
Possibly, yes, actually. No.
Okay, we're on the Simeon River. We just done the second portage, which is quite hard work. Very hot today, and then came on the little tiny river and heard roaring water, and it was a beaver dam. So we've had to heave all this gear over the beaver dam. We just stopped here now. This is a little tiny portage to get around this waterfall. Then we've got ahead of us today another 2 portages, much bigger ones. So it's hot, we're tired. Scenery is just beautiful. Quite technical paddling, just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. But a long way to go. This is day 3, so weather's turned nice. So we've now got to just climb up this little bit. It's only a little tiny portage. Some of them are kind of 700 metres long, but The last one we did, we had to climb up about 50-60 foot of the side of almost a cliff and then back down to the side. But here we are, so not so bad. Okay, we've just done what? 1, 2, 3 portages, I think. Not too bad. After one of them we thought we just had enough. We're now entering what's called Simeon Creek, so if I just sort of spin round, don't having a fag there, you'll see the... So we've come from right down there, and you can see that sort of dark bit with through the forest. We had to transport all the gear to the forest into this lovely little lake. And now we're going up Simeon Creek. And we're going to go up here for 2 or 3 k's apparently. It's very narrow, and then it brings us into another portage, then into Dunstan Lake, where we're going to try and find a campsite for the night. Our worry here is beaver dams, because each time a beaver blocks the river with his dam, you have to take all your trousers off and try and heave all your gear in the canoe up and over. Now this is looking very, very narrow. Let's hope we've got the right creek. Sorry? So you can see we're going against the flow. There's falling trees and all sorts here. I have to take your trousers off job here, I don't know if it's not quite paddling. Get a sprite on the bottom. Not very good. It appears to open up in front of us. Yesterday it was gales and big waves. Every day we're just fighting this current up at the moment. We're in a Saras River canoe. Amazing place called Quetico. This is the Quetico 17, it's the same as the one we have at home. Lovely bit of kit, empty. It only weighs about 40 pounds. Laden up like this, an awful lot more. Carbon camouflage jobby, so here we go. We're going to try and find a route through. Round to the right, Jane, do you reckon? Trying to avoid rocks as much as we can. Alright. You can see here they're under the water. Jane is flying off. This might be a slow old journey. I'm hoping it's going to open up a bit. I guess these rocks are put in. Remember in winter time this is all frozen and like mini basses will come down here. So we'll go through the gates of hell and hopefully we'll head to heaven. Jane's wearing a bug shirt. I've got a bug shirt on as well. We wore them for the first time in Anglia, if you like, in our last portage. They're lovely and cool. And keep the bugs off. So we bought them, what we've got here. Not that cheap, but half the price, a third of the price of what they are. Really nicely made bits of kit. I think they're Yankee ones. And we're through. This, I guess, is Simeon Creek. Jane's up the front there. She's doing navigation. She's got all the hard work to do. And it just says to me left or right or whatever. And then I keep the boat straight and stop it turning upside down. We've got big waves and stuff. So here we go, Simeon Creek. Look behind us, that's where we've come from. I just realised I've been shooting into the sun, so you've probably seen nothing. But there you go. Still on Simeon Creek. Problem here, we've got the trees falling across the river. So we're now going to have to take our trousers off and pull over. So that's that. This is where we're coming up from. So a bit of technical work to do here. Yeah, eat the ham tonight. Huh? Oh, I'd eat it. This is day 3. So this is day 3. We are on which lake?
Dunstan.
On Dunstan Lake. take you around. We're nesting. We are camping on an island tonight. We've had some hard portages, beaver dams and all sorts. We are now probably in heaven. We had a nice breeze when we arrived. We've had a swim down here, and a wash, shave, everything else. Canoes hauled up over there. Have a little look round at that. Look at this, isn't this beautiful? Isn't this lovely? We've been exploring these islands we couldn't find. It's very hard to, although it's all marked on the map, the maps aren't that big a scale, if you like. So it's difficult to find them. There's the canoe tied up. Little island here, look, some little trees. There's Jane messing about. Yeah, so we landed about, I guess, 5:30. We started this morning at 9. We didn't have much of a break at all. We were just edge on the go, portaged, paddled, no strong winds up that little river, which is hard work, and falling logs and dams and rocks. So, Jane wanted to tidy up before I did this video diary, so we have my socks drying down there. Look at our clothes. We got a bit wet because we had to take our trousers off and push the bloody boat over. And we're cooking tonight. We're having pasta and chicken and ham and peas, I think. We might even have a pudding. When we arrived, look, somebody's very kindly left us all this wood all cut up. We'll hopefully do the same tomorrow. I don't know if we will or not. Quite mosquito free at the moment. Still wearing our bug shirts, but it's very warm. It's lovely. Water's not too bad, full of tadpoles and fish. Here we go, look at this. And this is our little tent for the night. Little MSR tent. It's a 3-man tent, but you'd have to be pretty small to... all very, very friendly with each other, I guess. These are juniper bushes, by the way, coming here. So, our tent with our lovely Chinese silk duvet. Trees, look. No loons calling yet. These are kind of the bird of Canada, make the most beautiful noise. Hopefully we'll catch some later. So I'm going to go and have a cigarette now. And then we'll have our pasta, and perhaps a pudding, and then a nice rum before we get to bed. So beautiful. Jane, do you want to say a few words? Jane wearing her bug shirt, her little Barry boots, tidying up, doing the housework.
Always doing housework.
Always doing housework. Our charts ready for the morning. Our food barrel, which weighs a ton. We've had to dump some food. God, that's heavy. Here we go then.
Here we are, 9 o'clock at night, Dunstan Lake. Absolutely beautiful. Trout jumping. Moose is calling. Total silence. Apart from the mods. Here we go. Portaging the second lot.
Remember, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
There's a good instructions, you have to really shout.
Okay, look, Mark's just saying he can't hear me, so
What was he talking about? I didn't hear any of that.
talking to the video.
Okay.
Tree to cross here.
You want to go ahead of me?
I was going to try and lower it down for you.
That's very kind of you.
A bit easier, I thought.
Okay.
Keep going. Right, going ahead with a canoe. Going gradually uphill into the sun, so you probably can't see anything. I'm sure the camera's on straight, so might not be seeing anything anyway, to be honest. Uppy. Quite a good track. Few obstacles, not too many. And here we are at the end of the creek. Coming out. To Wonder Lake. Sorry? Yeah. Going for a lovely sight. We're going to go that way. Absolutely lovely sight.
Okay, so this is day 5. We're on Donald Lake. Janie's just sorting out the food barrel over here. We've done 7 portages today. Paddled through lots of rivers. Almost bumped into 3 moose. We've now got the canoe hauled up here. Charts in the front, life jacket, so that's all just kind of resting up. A very, very hard day, our hardest day. We ended up here. The glass is falling, so there's quite a strong wind and we think it might rain over the next day or two. Gone briefly around there. And we're going to have a fire here later. We'll have a run around that. We've got our meal we're going to start to cook. We just had a nice bath down here on the water's edge. And later this evening I'm sure all the loons will be calling. Tent's in here, it's tucked in nice and out of the way. Our duvet in it. Silk duvet made in China, but a beautiful thing. We'll be getting there later. We'll be putting the top on the fly sheet over that to keep the rain off, because I think it might rain tonight. We're quite cosy. Very dense in the back here. I don't, you know, when we're portaging, it's very hard to, sometimes very, very hard to find where you get out. You're right by a waterfall, and we haven't filmed any of that because you're just too busy. But all you're looking for is little marks on a tree. There was one on here somewhere. You can find it. Look up. They're called blazes. I can't find them. I'll film one later. Show you, but anyway, so it's day 5. Here we are. We think tomorrow we're going to have a short day and just rest up. We're both very tired, but it's been a fabulous day. We've had great fun. And tomorrow a short day and start some fishing tomorrow. Try and get some walleye and stuff, but tonight dehydrated food, tomorrow fresh food hopefully. There we go. This is where we camped up. This is Canada. Not a soul about. Probably hear the moose calling later, perhaps. We'll see. Anyway, a couple of 3 hours we'll be in bed. We're going to lay in tomorrow rather than getting up at 5:30. Be lovely.